Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Women's Council Collin County Live. It is my pleasure today to introduce our president-elect, Ms. Erica, and our events director, Ms. Carrie Dahlman. So today we wanted to bring you a couple of our passion projects. Women's Council, Women's Council is a great sisterhood. We do have gentlemen as well, but our whole mission is just to say we want to be the top networks in real estate, representing women, building them, growing them, getting them to learn their superpowers to excel in real estate. We partner with several people locally. There's partnership opportunities as well to partner with Women's Council. And that's how I got started in 2009 as a strategic partner until someone tapped my shoulder in late 2019 and says, "Hey, Shannon, will you do this?" So Women's Council is an amazing organization. It's a sisterhood, and it's great to know that you have your tribe. So two of my new tribe members is Miss Erica and Miss Carrie. So I'll let them introduce themselves briefly.
Hello, I'm Erica Alvarez. I am the president-elect for this year and excited to be here to discuss a couple of important projects that we have upcoming here locally.
Hi, and I'm Carrie Dahlman. I'm the events director, and I'm also super excited about what we have going at Collin County, Women's Council Collin County. We've got a couple of great things that we're doing coming up soon, and we are super excited to tell you about them today.
Cool. Well, one of the things that we wanted to do, and through Women's Council, I was tapped on the shoulder by a fellow Women's Council. Christy Black, she tapped me on the shoulder. She's like, "Hey, Shannon, would you be my vice chair for CC Collin County Association Realtors community outreach?" And I'm like, "Yes." And so I'd already been involved, but it was a great organization. And that our theme this year was to be a good neighbor. Unfortunately, we lost Christy in February. She had some health complications, and she was only 54. And she definitely had open heart surgery, or she had heart surgery a couple years ago. She was our president in 2016, had to step down to some health issues, but she ran last year and was going to be our president-elect. She started in real estate in 1995. She worked with Keller Williams, Remax, William Davis, got her own brokerage license in 2019. And she was excited because she was starting to feel like her normal self, get back involved. She had just joined the board of directors at CCER, and we were excited, we were going to make a difference to do things. Unfortunately, when we lost her in February, it shocked us a lot. Again, she was only 54. So it led to a conversation with another girl there on the involved in Collin County. She had lost a child to heart disease. And so this is how we came across, kind of like we're doing this in honor. So this Saturday, we're doing a Living with Zachary heart screening to help 50 local families to determine. So I'm going to back up and give you a little history real quick. So Cheryl, the one that's on the board with us, and how we went about choosing Living for Zachary. She had children that was diagnosed as asthmatic. And when her daughter was 14 and her son, she said they both had gone in and diagnosed. They were misdiagnosed playing sports. They both were diagnosed through an echocardiogram. She lost her child. So imagine losing your teenage daughter to a heart disease because it wasn't detected. But they were able to detect it in her son through the echocardiogram and the medications. And so this has just become her passion project. So she and I bonded about this. And we just thought this would be a great way, because with the back to school, how many people, Linda, taught coach football, but there's a lot of times I think children just kind of push through with sports and say, "Oh, I have this," or "I have this symptoms," and they don't necessarily take it seriously. So that's one of the reasons we partnered with Living Zachary because Living Zachary was started when another mom, her son was born in 1993, and he was playing football. He was playing in high school, and unfortunately, it wasn't deducted. So again, through being disnight, not being diagnosed, etc., that's how. So this has just become a passion project, and so we're partnering with Living for Zachary. We're doing screenings this Saturday, and they're free heart screenings because what they do is they're supported. They were created by Baylor Scott and White, the Heart Hospital there in Plano. They do a non-invasive screening, which is the electrocardiogram, the limited 3D echocardiogram, excuse me, the blood pressure check, the SCA scan, risk for history, and then they review and scan, and then those are reviewed by a certified cardiologist. But the idea is we just wanted to do something to pay it forward because, and Cheryl told me this yesterday, and I was just blown away. 1 in 2 people will pass away from heart disease. I know genetically mine is high cholesterol, but if we can do something to make a difference and to pay it forward and, support this in our women and our fellow sister, how we lost Christy, because again, she was 54. Her future was bright. She was getting her health back on track. She had just got a brokerage license, and we were excited. And then the next thing we know, we don't have her. So look for details. You can also go look onto if the page is Living for Zachary, Zachary. You can get some more details. But by doing this, they've screened over 8,500 students. They've been able to, help other families. So in someone else's tragic loss, they've taken that and made it a benefit or a cause to help other families not have to go through that. So that's one of the things that we were excited to. It's sad, but this is one of the ways that we wanted to pay tribute to Christy and the work that she's done at Collin County Association, not only as Women's Council, but how could we take her legacy and pay it forward? So that's one of the things that we're doing. So again, it's this Saturday. But in conjunction with that too, and our paying it forward and being a good neighbor, we're also partnering with Stuff the Bus. So we are excited that we are getting, we're not for sure if it's a full-size bus or a small bus, but we will have a bus there at CCER's office there at Legacy and Coit this weekend. So they're needing, items for, so we want to pack the bus. They got plenty of school supplies, but we want to pack the bus with clothes, packages of underwears and socks, shoes, belts, hair accessory, coats, PJs, because this is going to kind of go into their pantry. So as children, we really have had a crazy year, and some families, especially a single mom or single that trying to get back on their feet after COVID, they might not have the resources. So we wanted to partner with them, and this is what they refer to as their outreach pantry program. So if a student needs something, this way we want to say we were part of we needed some peanuts. It's all good. The peanut Charlie Brown thing kind of goes along with that. It's all good. But that's a cool thing too, because again, after Chrissy did pass, I did step up into the community chair outreach. So it was my goal and my honor that I wanted to make sure that we were honoring Christy and then being a good neighbor, because that's one of the things that we just wanted to do. So through the work with community outreach and Women's Council, we all agree that we want to make our community a little bit better. And in whatever manner that we can do that, that's the thing we want to, because it does take a village and anything that we can do, but we will be there at CCER, I do believe at 6821 Coit. We will be there at Saturday at 8 until 5. Please drop off any, if you don't have time to run to the store, cash donations will be made. But again, any clothes, your basics, your socks and underwear, all vary sizes from, elementary, middle school, high school. But we want to stuff the pantry so this way we can help families as being a good neighbor and just paying it forward in our neighborhoods. So I'm going to let Miss Erica now and Miss Carrie talk about our upcoming event we have next Tuesday with our affordable housing series.
Go ahead, Carrie. You can start.
Oh, thanks, Erica. So on Tuesday, we are having an event. It's a virtual event that you can come to, and you can hear. It's on affordable housing and kind of where the affordable housing is going in our market. I'm sure I know everybody knows that the market is just, like a roller coaster right now. So we decided to get some speakers together and try to get some kind of perspective on where the market's going and what affordable housing looks like for the Dallas area. And we've partnered with Ellis County Women's Council of Realtors and also the group that's in South Dallas so that we can get kind of a very broad perspective on the market in the Dallas area.
Yeah, so we're excited to partner with our two sister chapters to really kind of bring you some forefront information. As we all know, with the recent extension of Biden's moratorium, that, as we all know, is inventory. However, when I talk to my agents about this, it's like, even with the release of that inventory, still, where does that leave us as a metroplex in regards to inventory? So I'm not just as a real estate professional, but also as a consumer to kind of know, hey, where is this going? What direction are we going to be able to see our economy going here in the DFW area? So I'm looking forward to see what the speakers have to say, the input. Also interested to hear, what other experts think about the economy as a whole and not just even DFW in regards to housing. So it'll be a really important event that I think that any industry professional would want to not miss for sure.
Yeah. There will be topics discussed that, like you said, affect more than just the housing industry. It affects us as consumers, as, you can't buy a car. Everything is just so skewed right now because and it's all basically based on last year with COVID and this year with the housing market. It's affecting every aspect of our lives at this point.
Absolutely. Well, we're also excited to pack the bus. So those of you who don't have kids that are old enough to participate in the cardio scan, so I believe the youngest you can be is 12, but you can still stop by with your donations. They would definitely be welcome, and we would definitely appreciate the support. We will be out there, I believe, from 8. Everyone's going to be there from 8 to 5.
Yes.
So the bus will be there from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We do appreciate any donations that you can bring. And thank you everybody for your time. It's really important that you think about the situation that this was created for. I know that I'm going to take the time to bring my 12-year-old out there, and we'll definitely be bringing some items to pack the bus.
I have 2 boys. They're grown now, but when they were playing football, we took them in and we paid for heart scans. And one of my sons actually did have an irregular heartbeat that was detected at that time of that screening. So it is something that's super important, especially with kids in this area that are playing in the heat and in the conditions that they're practicing football in and baseball in and soccer, and they're working so hard. And it is super important. And I did want to also reiterate that it is free. This screening is free, paid for by Living with Zachary, so that other kids can get the screening that they need in case they can't pay for it. So it's definitely something that you want to take advantage of because it could uncover something that you need to know now, not when your kids are in the ER.
Absolutely.
And the one thing too, we know there's our goal was originally to have more families, but with the shortage of, so this time we're only doing, but our goal is to go ahead and we're looking to set it up a separate date later in September. So this way we can go ahead and work to go ahead and get these families, and this way go ahead and make it something that we can carry on in Christy's honor. Because, and I think too, I mean, a lot of times I think, especially as athletes, like Carrie said, you're out there, you're burning, you're lightheaded. Those are some things that may not be detected, but we wanted to be able to help families with this free screening to help them make sure their child is healthy and well to play the sports, to play the activities that they're in. And because, I mean, like Charlotte mentioned, just like when you think of heart disease, you don't think of, unless the child is born with a birth defect, you don't necessarily think as a teenage that a possibility for a teenager. You think about it in younger adults, but they screen from 12 to 22, have it read by the cardiologist, but it's giving a detection that if they do see something, hey, Baylor Heart Hospitals has a great, wonderful reputation. This way they can go ahead and be proactive and helping. So another family doesn't have to lose their Zachary, or another family doesn't have to lose our Christy. And what can we do to make it a little bit better? So it's one of the things that, if anything, the last year has taught us, it takes a village. We're not in this alone. But if whatever we can do to pay it forward and help someone else make it a little bit better, that's the beauty. And so, again, when I got involved with Women's Council 2 years ago, I would have never thought this would be my path. But the sisterhood, the support, and our main pillars with Women's Council's leadership, education, referrals, and networking. Our dues are only $189, and on average, Women's Council realtors make more than your average realtors. Also, too, this teaches them to step into leadership role, whether they want to go to CCAR, whether they want to continue their path with Women's Council, or if they want to step into roles with Metrojex or other associations. But it just brings awareness, and our goal and our mission is just, how can we make the real estate community in Collin County and the North Dallas surrounding areas? What can we do? How can we support our fellow young realtors, seasoned realtors, and match them up? So we have the seasoned Erica that, she can definitely go ahead and say, okay, here, new realtor, you might want to know this, or you might want to know that. So Erica's got some great ideas. We already nicknamed her. We're going to make her Queenie, because she gets to go to what Women's Council calls Network 360. So that's her leadership training. So she actually gets to get on a plane and go to Chicago for this, and she doesn't have to stay in Hollywood Squares in the Zoom box. But that's going to be the beauty, because she's going to be able to have connections throughout. And that is, when COVID happened last year and everything shut down, I literally sat in my office. I'm like, okay, I went to a Zoom for Women's Council in Florida. I went from Ohio, California, and it was just amazing to learn. People were sharing their skill sets on who knew Canva, how to give you tips on social media. And it was just the connections that you build. But one of the biggest things for Women's Council, and JC mentioned this last week, she had been sent a referral, and that referral closed, and that was a $600,000 house. So her $189, that was, a great return on investment. But that's the cool thing. Now, a lot of people think, okay, it's not a competition. We're a sisterhood. We're here to help everyone, support everybody. Some people may not have the leadership path. They just maybe want to be part of it. Whatever your goal, we want to work with you and help making it what you want to be. And yes, we do have some gentlemen. So I'm going to let Miss Erica share, because she's got some ideas that she wants to start putting in place. So I want her to share, because we want to share the excitement with Women's Council. We wanted to make sure you get involved. You don't want to be missing out. So we just want to make this a great community. whether you're a realtor or whether you're a strategic partner, there's opportunities here. And our goal in the upcoming podcast are to start spotlighting these partners, interview the partners. As Lyndon with his like with small business, if we can support small businesses, supporting one another and the community, and bring awareness of how we can, as a community, make everybody successful, it's a win-win for everyone. So, Ms. Erica, would you like to share?
Yeah, one of the things that I would like to bring into the fold, but besides, my theme for 2022 and the rest of 2021 is going to be engagement. We want to make sure that each of the existing and new members understand the value that we bring to you with your membership here with WCR Collin County. Value you as a member, but we want you and the value that we can bring you with the resources such as Radius, by getting those referrals that she mentioned, as well as the educational benefits and the other benefits that you have outside of just even networking. There are lots of value that we can bring to you here at WCR Collin County, and we want you, one, to be aware of what they are, and then two, we want you to be able to engage and grow by utilizing those resources. So engagement is our big push that we have for the rest of this year, and then that will be my 2022 theme as incoming president. But I also am going to really kind of expand on the podcast here, some various topics that are very important to us that are in this industry. And one of those aspects that is not talked about very often, but is highly, highly important, is commercial. So I will be from time to time inviting some commercial guests that will come on here that are going to talk about projects, not just in Collin County, but in the DFW area, and basically kind of expanding the outreach of commercial so that everyone has the understanding and the value of what commercial brings to our overall residential industry. Without commercial development, we don't have the master plan communities, for example. We don't have the shopping centers. We don't have the grocery stores. There's a lot of work that goes into that process, and I think it's really important that those practitioners become your siblings almost to an extent, and that you have those relationships with those individuals, because they also give you the pulse on the market here and not just in Collin County, but in the DFW area. So definitely be keeping a watch for the upcoming podcasts, as you'll see a variety of topics that we're going to be introducing here. We're looking to expand our social media reach just in general, so that you are more aware, have more opportunities of being aware of some of the things that we're going to be bringing to you. Also be on the lookout for more communication from our existing president via email, videos, and things of that nature. So we're going to be embracing technology a lot more, and we're going to be leveraging that advantage to communicate with our members more about not just hey, pay your membership dues and be a part of WCR, but hey, let me show you what WCR can do for you.
Cool. Erica, why don't you share too how I met Erica through a Zoom box last year. Why don't you share how you started with MetroTex Commercial and how you're part of one of the founding realtors with that?
So it's really exciting. NAR came to MetroTex and said, hey, we really want to expand commercial. We want more. We want to engage more commercial practitioners. We really want to expand more talk and discussion about commercial, and we really want your help to do that. And so I received an email asking if I would be willing to participate in the ground or the launch of the commercial committee for MetroTex. And so I accepted that opportunity. And I think in our very first meeting, and this was before COVID, so this was end of 2019. So I think that there were 20, I want to say maybe 22 or 28 of us in that initial meeting. And NAR attended, had a representative that attended the first couple of meetings, and then we kind of grew from there. the word kind of got out and MetroTex really embraced it. Janet Kane, the CEO, also was a commercial practitioner herself. And so she was very excited to see the opportunities come to us from NAR. And so we had a couple of in-person events. And then in 2020, and then of course we know from there what happened with COVID. So I actually was the president of the commercial committee for 2020, and Heather Konopka was my president-elect. And so we obviously did the transition as every other organization into online events. And so we started doing online forums and online networking and things of that nature. And with the growth of that became the understanding that we needed a commercial information exchange, which we call the MCDX, which is the MetroTex Commercial Exchange. And there is a website, you can link to it through the MetroTex website, but that has recently been formed as of last I believe it launched March of last year and has grown exponentially. And it's an opportunity for you to find commercial information, not just here, but across the state. So it's pretty exciting. We're very excited to have our commercial information exchange. It is going to be listings that will be input by area practitioners as well as area brokers. And the information that we have in there is going to be some of the most accurate, obviously, from the source. So we're very excited about launching the MCDX, and I'm also on the board of directors for that as well. We have a lot of amazing things that we have planned. Now that COVID restrictions have relaxed, you're going to see more commercial as well as MCDX in-person type events. I know that they're going to be at a couple of commercial conferences. I know the C5 that's coming up in New York will be there, and we have most of our data exchange information is supported by a software company called Catalyst, and Catalyst was recently purchased by Moody's. And as everyone knows, Moody's is worldwide. There's big dollars supporting Catalyst. And so we are very, very proud to have that partnership with Moody's. We've spoke with several people from Moody's. The plans and ideas that they have to help us grow are just amazing. And we're really excited to have that partnership. So look for really big things to happen with that commercial data exchange. And the commercial committee has a growing interest. I'm loving seeing some of the people come forward that have been some of the commercial practitioners have been practicing commercial real estate since longer than I've been alive. And I won't say how long that is, but it's over 45 years. But it's really funny because I love hearing some of the camaraderie and some of the comments of the things that they say. But I literally, no matter how long I'm in this industry, I've been in real estate since 2002. I've been licensed since 2008. I will always sit like a childlike sponge, soaking up any kind of information that I can from that kind of tenure or seasoning. I learn something every single day in this industry. And I'm feeling very fortunate to surrounding myself with powerful women in WCR who also teach me things, and one, I want to back up on WCR just a second and say that, my leadership journey has been interesting because it was not something that I set out to do. It is something that naturally evolved over time. As I lovingly I was voluntold that I was going to do a couple of things several years ago. And then the next thing I knew, I was in TRLP, the Texas Realtors Leadership Program at MetroTex. And then the next thing I know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And so it kind of fell in my lap, but I'm so grateful. And the fact that I reconnected with WCR and the camaraderie I have with the women there are amazing. I really feel like I have a great sisterhood that supports me, and I'm super excited to grow in my leadership roles because I feel like each and every day our current president, Shirley, really inspires me and really pushes me to kind of think outside the box. As she says, she loves that about me. She's like, you just always think outside the box. And I really her for a lot of that, because she really pushes me to do that and more. And so I'm really thankful that the team of people that I have for the rest of this year that I get to work with, the amazing, and then of course my amazing team that'll be coming into 2022. I think it's going to be exciting, the things that we're going to get to do as an organization. And if you are not a part of WCR in any capacity, we welcome you just to come to a meeting or come to one of our networking events. Come say hi, like, hey, Erica, I saw you on the podcast, and I just wanted to come and introduce myself and say hi. Would love to meet you, love to network with you and get to know you, and welcome you to the family hopefully soon. So I appreciate you guys having me on here again today.
Well, as that is one of the jokes with a couple of my other cohorts in Women's Council. You're tapped on that shoulder and you're definitely kind of voluntold. But the great thing it is, by doing that, you learn things that you normally wouldn't have learned. And that's it's the great sister. I mean, we're all pushing each other to be better versions of ourselves and supporting each other, how we can make them successful, or how we can, help you take your real estate career, whether as a realtor or a strategic partner. How can we partner together? How can we make our community better? So I'm going to let you tell Ms. Carrie talk about a few more of our events that she's working on upcoming. So we hope to see you there. So Ms. Carrie, do you want to share?
Sure. Thanks, Shannon. I did want to say that you can find all of our events. We do post in our Facebook page, which is Women's Council of Realtors, Collin County. You can search for Women's Council of Realtors, Collin County, and you'll see everything that we've kind of got going that's active, and attend our events and come and meet everybody. We always have a lot of fun. We do try to do fun things. I just took over as events director in June, beginning of, or May, maybe it was May. I don't know. It's been a couple of months.
March.
So we have some stuff we've already done. We're trying to get some stuff going for 2022. But what we have going now is we do have the event next week, which is the affordable housing virtual event. And then for August, we're trying to come up with a back to school event. September, we're going to try to do some CE. I think we were going to try to do some CE for a CE event. And then October, we're going to try to do a fundraiser. That location is still to be determined. We're going to do a fundraiser with a silent auction, try to raise some money. We'll try to do it in some kind of glamorous place where everybody can get dressed up in some theme or something. That one's still in the planning stages. And then, finish out the year with bringing in our new leadership group and inaugurating them, I guess we would say, into the leadership for 2022 and going forward. Cool. So we have a lot going on. We're going to try to also throw in a couple of happy hours in there, some business networking that we can, you can come and meet people and meet our strategic partners, meet other realtors in the area, learn from, there's so many there that have been in this business for so long. And like Erica said, every time I go to one of the meetings, I learn something just by listening to all of the people have their conversations and talk about the things that they've experienced. So there's a lot of value in the Women's Council of Realtors just because there's so many amazing women to learn from. They have so much knowledge. They've done so many things, and it gets bigger as you get to the state level. It gets even bigger as you go to the national level. So it's definitely worth the $189 that you pay for a year. And I have got nothing but good things to say about the Women's Council since I've been here. I have met some amazing women, and I've learned things. I've gotten out of my comfort zone. I'm sitting here on a podcast, which I never dreamed that I would be doing. But I have thoroughly enjoyed every minute of the time I've been here. So take the time, go to our Facebook group or our Facebook page, see if you can find an event that interests you, and go and meet people. That's the only thing that you can do in this industry, is to just meet as many people as you can in order to put yourself out there and learn new things and have a support system when you need something. I look forward to seeing everybody.
That is a beauty. And if anybody has suggestions for topics, we'd love to get any topics, suggestions that you want us to discuss. One of the things that we will be working on is in the coming weeks, Women's Council Texas has an event in September, Power. That will be our first state event that's live in a year and a half. So we're all excited to put on real clothes and actually drive somewhere and go. So that will be September 8th. But I will be coordinating in the coming weeks to have our current president, Peggy Pentecost, and our national guest speaker come to the podcast and then just share. And the cool thing too, then we have orientation in October where Carrie and Erica get to meet some of the other amazing network leaders here in Texas. And then in November, we get to see our very own Sylvia Sebo that started with CCAR and was a Women's Council local president. She will be the national president, 2022 national president for Women's Council. So things that, like Carrie said, if you would have asked me months ago, even a year ago, I would have looked at you and said, yeah, there's no way I'm going to host a podcast. But I've learned to never say never.
Here we are.
Embrace the craziness and the support of Women's Council. And we look forward to you being part of this podcast. Let us know how we can support you and make it better. And we will talk to you next Wednesday. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Oh, and by the way, happy belated birthday, Miss Carrie.
Yes, happy birthday, Carrie.
Thank you. It was
Thanks,
a good day.
guys.